Hello, it's me. I'm back on the second channel. I've not been here for a while. There's been a lot going on. I thought I'd just drop in a little update just before I do some more videos on this channel, just to catch up with what's going on and what happened and all that kind of thing. So here we go. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for the incredible support that we got throughout the whole of the charity event. For the last I think it was 4.5 months I was working on it, and I had people behind the scenes and in front of the scenes helping me get to the end point and achieve that incredible final total, and I just can't thank you all enough. I could spend probably 20 minutes of this video just going through all the different people to thank, but you all know who you are, and I'm hoping that I've already mentioned you enough in other videos that you feel like you've got your moment in the sun. But I know that's not what you do it for, and I'm so proud that I know all of you. Thank you very much. The befriending scheme themselves are over the moon with the total that we raised, which was, it's currently just under £17,800, which is more than they needed for the donkeys. They were after £16,000, which, you know, it's all going to be used in a great cause. And now that we've got to that point, I'm thinking that we could maybe stretch to that next big milestone, because we've got many more things to sell, including, I mentioned in videos leading up to the final event and maybe on the day. I can't remember much of what happened on the day, but I mentioned that the next thing would be an Amstrad CPC 464 that Retro Crazy Duncan actually donated last year for last year's event, but because that was Sinclair themed, I ran out of time. I probably would have tried to crowbar it in as a kinder Sinclair machine, but I ran out of time and it never got auctioned, and it's been waiting here for its turn to be cleaned up and restored and sold. So that's going to be the first thing. But I just wanted to quickly run through I haven't got a comprehensive list of everything that I've got here because there's just so much stuff, but these will be some of the highlights. There are 2 Amiga 500s, and they will both be fitted with Lazarus Storm style Pi Storms. An Amiga 600, that's also could be with a Pi Storm. Andrew, Linux Jedi Andrew, donated an Amiga 600 Pi Storm that was faulty for me to repair as a project, but ran out of time, as with everything else that happened. So I've got that waiting here to be looked at. If I can fix that and make it work, that will be included with the Amiga 600. The Amiga 600 doesn't need any work. That one, I think that's Cole Cuz's, yeah, that's Cole Cuz's Amiga 600 that he donated along with loads of other stuff. And that one is already fully kitted out with IDE, compact flash, and both of the memory expansions. So the Pi Storm isn't necessarily essential for that one, but it will be a nice addition. There's also I think it was from Colcuz, a Vic 20 with loads of goodies. I might be getting some of these names wrong, by the way, but there'll be, I'll go into it more in the individual videos. Yeah, so lots of bits and pieces with that, cartridges, and I think it's got a tape deck and all sorts of bits. There's also the Camo 64, which is this one. This has been in and out of my workshop a couple of times. This belonged to Paul Universal Retro Boss, and I think it's got a shortboard in it, and it's you know, in really good condition. The paint job on it is fantastic. I really like this. It's been done really well, and it's got all of these pots that have been drilled into the top. It looks like a selector switch there, maybe, or another pot. Reset switch over here, and some RCA jacks here for stereo output, I assume. Mind you, that one of them has got a yellow socket socket on it. So I'm not sure. They're not connected to anything inside. It looks like somebody got to this point in the project and then stopped. But that's going to be auctioned along with this synth cart. Come on. Synth Cart 64 that Simon Osborne donated. I'll put his name on the back there to remind me. And I believe that this is what we need to make this complete. So that's another project. There's also boxes and piles of books and software. So for instance, when the Amiga 500s get sold, they're going to be kitted out with lots of books and manuals and software, hopefully with a mouse and power supply and everything. I'm going to try and make everything as complete as I can. There is actually another Cold Cars donation, was this Amiga, what is it, 1011 or 1011 floppy disk drive. Original in box, in really good condition. I think the polys, yeah, the polys are all still in there. Lovely. That's going to be with one of the Amiga 500s as well. And I'm fairly sure that the Amiga 500s were both donated by Cold Cars as well. So it's going to be a bit of a Cold Cars heavy sellathon. There's also, I can see it over there, but it's underneath a lot of stuff in a box, is a Sega Game Gear that James McNeil, who you might remember from the Specky from Hell series, donated quite early on in this process, before I'd locked in the fact that it was going to be Commodore. I had a quick look at that, and I believe that that's already been screen modded and is a really nice example. It's in a horrible case, but it doesn't have to go with the case. But the case is basically disintegrated around it. But that's going to be sold as well. There's also this Timex 2068. This one's not going to be sold, and the reason behind that is this was donated by Bob Brenchley, and Bob Brenchley used to work for, I think it was MGT, for Bruce Gordon, who designed or created the Sam Coupe, and Bruce used this as part of his research and then gave it to Bob Brenchley, who put it away in his loft, or he played with it for a bit, put it away in his loft, and then ended up donating it to the cause. Now, I could have, and I still could, just sell this, but I don't like the idea that something as important as this will go into somebody's collection and never be seen again. And there's every chance that that could happen. With the, it might live its best life in that person's collection and be looked after and loved. But I'd much rather see it in a museum. So I'm donating this to the cave, to Neil's cave, and Neil has agreed to do his fundraising that he normally does every year, where he does his calendar sales. He's going to do something else this year that's not quite as involved as that. It doesn't involve him having to create something first, but I'm going to try and raise some money to go towards the befriending scheme. It's not exchange, he's not buying this off of me for that, but it's kind of like a thank you and a way for him to contribute to even more to the charity fundraising. So we've got that to look forward to. I'm not sure the timescales of that, because it's going to rely on what Neil wants to do with it, and we're still waiting for some information from Bob, and I know he's a very busy man, so we're going to get to that as soon as we can. Right, so the next thing to talk about is how I am, and I'm great. That took a lot out of me, the whole charity thing and organising everything. I really did not expect to have to put that much effort, and I didn't expect to be that inundated with amazing donations. I completely underestimated how much effort it would take. And so next year, if I do something next year, which is not set in stone, if something happens next year, then it's not going to be in this form. It will be something that involves much less of me having to make videos about all of the things that I made videos about in the run up to it, because doing that as well as organising the charity event was just I don't want to have to do that again. It was too much. My plan is to next year do a little bit more of what we did this year, which was have other people sell their own things. And incidentally, that actually would work out better for the befriending scheme, because eBay still took fees from the befriending scheme because they're seen as a business account. So they ended up paying like somewhere between 1% and 2% fees, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's off of, I think it was, you know, £7,000 or £8,000 worth of auctions, in the end, it's a good chunk of money. But the other people's, you know, everybody else that sold theirs in the UK, I'm not sure about other regions, but for instance, Andy from Hack Build Restore has come back with his final total, and the selling total, the final bid was £600, and he's paid £600 into the scheme. So there was absolutely zero fees if you're doing it through a private account. So what I'm hoping for next year is to not only get lots of YouTubers involved making a video that they want to use to promote their own eBay sale, is get everybody else involved as well. You know, you don't have to be a YouTuber to sell something. If you've got something in your collection, then let's get you on the list, and everything can be sold for the charity. It'll be a nice event. You know, we'll just have like a big eBay sale day, and lots of people. I just want to have 1 or 2 things maximum of my own creations that I want to promote, and then we'll do the whole live stream thing again and have lots of fun, which was my favourite bit of the whole thing. The live stream was just brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I could have done with being a little bit less tired. I had food poisoning the day before, and I don't know how I got through it, but I still had such a good time. So yeah, thank you to everybody that helped this year, and I'm looking forward to doing something again, possibly next year, and we'll see how it goes. Right, so the next thing you're going to see on this channel, which will be almost immediately after this one, is going to be a repair pile video. There are a series of repair pile videos, because one of the first things that I did after I finished with all of the, you know, packing up and sending off all the auctions and everything, was fix the, I think, 6 or 7 Commodore 64s and a 48K Spectrum that Paul had here, waiting for ages to be repaired. And he's such a patient and lovely man. And I took those back to him, and he sent me back with just more, so much more, and some really cool stuff as well that I am really keen to get into. Let me show you one thing. This is this was a gift from Paul for me. It's a Namco Pac-Man, you know, plug into the telly type thing, and it's got pictures of Pole Position, Gallagher, I can't remember that one, I can't read that, wrong glasses, and this one's Mappy and Miss Pac-Man, and he gave it to me. It was a gift. He also gave me another gift that's somewhere else, and I opened it up, and it was, I'll show you some pictures actually on the screen. It was full of Duracells, and they were all leaking. So I've got the battery terminals out, and I've put them in vinegar and gave them a clean, but I've actually ordered some new ones because I just don't trust these ones now. So that's not going to be a video, because I'm sure it'll, well, if it doesn't work after I do that, then maybe it will be a video. You never know. So that was one thing, but I've got a big box down, Paul's big box is here, and there's another box over there full of bits and pieces that I have to repair. So after I finished, I just did some repairs just for me. I did film one of them that it just needs editing, and I'm not in a bleeding rush to get videos out. I don't need to make regular videos. It's a pressure that I don't want to put myself under. I'm going to do probably a repair pile video with the Commodore machines that I've got here, and another one with the Sinclair machines. They might get split up into more, but I'll just go through and look at each machine in brief, just to give it a bit of a triage, and then we'll take it from there. And some of them will maybe make it into a video. Some of the special ones will probably make it into a video, but most of them, it's just going to be a case of cleaning the power switch or changing the PLA. So they won't make great videos. But maybe I'll do a live stream where I fix a few Commodore 64s. That would be fun, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching this. I hope you have a lovely weekend, what's left of it, and I will see you in the repair pile video in a minute.